Hi everyone, and welcome. If you're getting ready for the Cambridge IGCSE Biology exam, then you are in the perfect place. In this explainer, we're going to break down the entire assessment structure for you, so you know exactly what's coming your way and how to prepare for it. Let's get right into it.
So, this is the big question, isn't it? You hear about all these different papers and codes and options, and honestly, it can feel like you're trying to navigate a maze. But hey, don't worry. That's exactly why we're here, to give you a crystal clear map that turns all that confusion into pure confidence.
Here's our game plan for today. We'll start with the overall exam blueprint. Then we'll look at the two main paths you can take, core versus extended. After that, we'll dive deep into the three different papers, figure out what skills are actually being tested, and finally, we'll pull it all together into one final assessment map.
Okay, let's kick things off by changing how we think about this. Instead of some big, scary exam, I want you to think of it like a blueprint, right? It's just a clear structure with a set of rules. And once you understand that blueprint, you know exactly how to build your success, piece by piece.
So rule number one, and this is the most important one, every single student takes 3 papers. That's it. It doesn't matter what school you go to or which path you're on, it's always 3. This is the foundation of our blueprint. Simple, right?
Now, here's the first major fork in the road. You know there are 3 papers, but within that structure, you're going to go down one of 2 distinct pathways, either the core pathway or the extended pathway. This is a really key decision because it determines which specific papers you'll sit for.
Okay, so what's the actual difference here? Well, on one hand, you've got the core pathway. This is designed for students who are expected to get grades from C down to G. If that's you, you'll be taking papers 1, 3, and a practical paper. On the other hand, there's the extended pathway. This is for those of you gunning for the top grades, from A star down to C. For this route, you'll take papers 2, 4, and again, one of the practical papers. So the key takeaway? The practical paper is the same for everyone, but your theory papers, they're tailored to your specific path.
So we've got the 2 paths and the 3 papers. Now let's zoom in a bit and get to know each of these papers a little better. What are they actually like? How long do you get for each one? And, how much is each one worth towards your final grade?
All right, this table breaks it all down for us. Now, the first thing you should notice is that a huge chunk of your grade, we're talking 80%, comes from just 2 papers. Whether you're doing core or extended, look at this. You've got a multiple choice paper that's worth 30% and a theory paper that's worth a massive 50%. The times and the marks are identical. So what does that tell you? It tells you that nailing the content for that big theory paper is absolutely your #1 ticket to a great grade. The only real difference is that the extended papers will cover some more in-depth topics.
And that brings us to the final piece of the puzzle. That last 20%, that final fifth of your total grade, is all about your practical skills. This really goes to show that IGCSE Biology isn't just about memorizing facts from a textbook, it's about proving you can think and work like a real scientist.
Okay, so when it comes to this practical part, there are 2 ways it can go. First, there's paper 5, the practical test. This is where you're actually in the lab with the equipment doing the experiments yourself, all the hands-on stuff. Then there's paper 6, the alternative to practical. Now, this is a written paper. You won't be physically doing the experiments, but, and this is super important, you're being tested on the exact same skills, like analyzing data and planning investigations. Your school will usually be the one to decide which of these 2 you'll be taking.
We've got the paper formats down, but to really master this blueprint, we need to go one level deeper. We've got the what, but now let's talk about the how. We need to ask ourselves, what skills are the examiners really looking for when they're marking your papers? And that, my friends, is where the assessment objectives, or AOs, come into play.
Okay, check out this chart. It's a fantastic visual that shows you exactly where your marks are coming from. A full half of your marks, that's 50%, is for AO1, which is your knowledge. Then 30% is for AO2, which is all about handling information and problem solving. And that last 20%, that's AO3, your experimental skills. So what on earth do those actually mean? Let's break them down.
Think of AO1 as the foundation of everything. It's your ability to remember and explain biology. The facts, the definitions, the key vocabulary, and the big theories. It's basically the what you know part of the exam. And since it's the biggest slice of the pie, you can see just how essential a solid knowledge base really is.
All right, next up is AO2. This is all about application. See, it's not enough to just know the information. You have to be able to use it.
This is where you'll be asked to look at a graph and figure out what's going on, or analyze data from an experiment and use what you've learned to solve a new problem you might not have seen before.
And finally, we have AO3. This one is all about your hands-on science skills, and it connects directly to that practical paper we just talked about, paper 5 or 6. It's testing things like, can you plan an experiment? Can you record your observations accurately? Can you evaluate a method and suggest improvements? It's really the how science gets done part of the course.
Okay, it's time to bring it all home. We've looked at all the individual pieces, the paths, the papers, the skills. Now it's time to put that puzzle together and look at the final, complete assessment map.
And here it is. It's actually super straightforward when you see it like this. All of your theory and multiple choice papers, so that's papers 1, 2, 3, and 4, they are designed to test your knowledge, which is AO1, and your problem-solving skills, AO2. And that practical paper, whether you're taking paper 5 or paper 6, it has one job and one job only, to test AO3, your experimental skills. Knowing this is like having a cheat sheet for your revision. It tells you exactly what to focus on for each paper.
And that's it. The mystery is gone. You have the blueprint. You understand the papers, you understand the pathways, and you know exactly what skills you need to demonstrate. The path forward is totally clear. Now you can focus your energy where it truly matters, on learning, on practicing, and on building your success.
Fundoo Tutor is a personalized learning platform that helps students succeed in Cambridge, IB, and other international curriculums with expert mentorship, structured learning support, and engaging resources.